Okay, so to change a percentage to a decimal, the basic idea is that we're going to be dividing by 100. Now when we divide something, we make it smaller, and dividing by 100 will make it a lot smaller. Now the key part to doing this is that for each of these numbers, there is an invisible decimal point at the back of them. We don't bother normally writing it because there's nothing that comes after the decimal. There's no numbers after the decimal point, and so we don't need to bother writing it. But it's really important to know that it's there, because when we divide by 100, what we're actually doing is we're moving this decimal point 2 spots across, and so that will bring it in front of the 2. So if we've moved it to here, we can now get rid of it from the back. And because we've moved it, we've now changed this number out of percentage form, so we can get rid of the percentage symbol, and we're left with 0.23. Now that's fine, but it is easy to miss that little decimal place there because it is quite small. So what we do is we make sure that we write a 0 in front of it, and that just helps us to see the decimal place there. So 0.23 is the same as our starting percentage of 23%. Let's see if we can do it with this next one. So 45% is equal to, so we'll go through the process of moving this decimal 2 spots, and if we move it there, it's going to end up in front of the 4. So here we go, we'll draw it in front of the 4, so we get the 45. We don't need to write the percentage symbol because we've changed it out of percentage form, and then we just need to add in a 0 at the front. So 45% is the same as 0.45 or 0.45. Let's have a look at the next one. So in this case here, again, we're starting where our decimal point is. We're going to move that 2 spots over to here, but you'll notice now there's a gap in here where there's no numbers. And so where that gap is, we're going to replace that with a 0. So we fill in that gap with a 0, and then at the start, again, we'll fill in that gap there with a 0. And so our final decimal number here will be 0.06. So 6% equals 0.06. They're the same thing, they're just different ways of writing it. Let's have a look at the last one, so 278%. Again, starting with the decimal point, we're going to take that, we're going to move it just 2 spots, just like in all the other cases. And so this time, we end up with the decimal point between the 2 and the 7. So we write the 2, we write our decimal point, which has been moved, then we finish writing the number, the 7 and the 8, and we can scrap the percentage symbol because it's no longer in percentage form. So 278% is the same as 2.78. And so that's how you change percentages to decimals. You need to move that decimal place 2 spots to the left, and that makes it a smaller number. And so it's really important that you're able to identify where the decimal point is at the start of this process before you go moving it.